When you sit down with your coworker and you apologize for your own flaws before you even get into the conversation, many times that's going to actually deflate the situation. And honestly, it's probably going to surprise the other person who's probably just as ready to throw down over the issue. Be humble and look at yourself first. Welcome to another episode of the Workforce Link podcast, where we're offering forward-thinking conversations for the workforce, linking employers and job seekers to a brighter tomorrow. I'm your host, Sunday Jo Graham with the Central Workforce Development Region, and I am so glad that you are tuning in for another episode today. If you have been enjoying this podcast, would you mind heading over real quick, leaving us a review wherever it is that you listen to podcasts? It helps us get the word out there, and that is our goal, to provide helpful career information to as many people as possible. Now, with that said, let's get down to business. Where there is a mixture of personalities, there's going to be some interesting opportunities that arise in the workforce that are either going to make us butt heads with our coworkers or figure out how to appropriately resolve conflict and keep moving forward in the workplace. In today's episode of the Workforce Link, we're going to learn how to handle workplace disagreements and overcome conflict together. So, we're all going to disagree, right? But how we handle that disagreement is what matters. It only takes a short amount of time before everybody in the organization starts to feel the negative energy that coming from coworkers, right? Who are in the midst of this ugly disagreement. And I don't know about you, but that is not a fun environment that I want to be a part of, right? It's not a fun environment to be part of, period. We can't avoid disagreement. As a matter of fact, we shouldn't avoid disagreement. That should be a whole nother podcast for another day. But if we all agreed on everything, we would never grow, right? It would be totally counterproductive. But how we disagree is what is important. You know, what if we actually sit down together and figure out a way to encourage each other's different ideas, without duking it out, literally? The last thing that you want to do is walk away from the issue, leaving it unresolved. Because guess what, my friend? It is going to come back to haunt you later, okay? You can't avoid it. Burying the problem only makes it fester longer, and nobody wins that way. You don't win, your coworker doesn't win, the organization certainly doesn't win. So here are 4 ways that you can handle workplace disagreements to improve and strengthen your work relationships. Number 1, self-reflect. There's an old saying out there that says, remember, when you point a finger at someone, there are 3 more pointing back at you. Now that you've listened to me say that, you're pointing a finger, aren't you? Point a finger out and you can see that there are 3 fingers pointing back at you. It's so true, right? It's so important to look at yourself first before pointing out the flaws in others. Reflect on your attitude. Ask yourself questions. Why are you upset? What did they say or do that caused you to be upset? Did you react negatively? If you did, why? Ask yourself those questions. Because in most disagreements, guess what? Each side usually thinks they're right? Ever been there? Raise your hand. Yeah, I'm raising mine. Make sure you check yourself before sitting down to talk with the other person. Take responsibility where it needs to be taken. When you sit down with your coworker and you apologize for your own flaws before you even get into the conversation, many times that's going to actually deflate the situation. And honestly, it's probably going to surprise the other person who's probably just as ready to throw down over the issue, right? Be humble and look at yourself first, okay? So self-reflect. Number 2, be positive. If you're walking into a meeting and you know that your coworker is going to be there, don't go into the meeting with a negative attitude right off the bat, right? Walk in with the mindset that you want to understand where the other person is coming from. Be willing and open to find a resolution beforehand. Again, ask questions. Try to understand what the other person is saying instead of just trying to prove why it is that you're right. Try to see your coworker's perspective. Try to see things from their point of view. Okay? If you both make a commitment up front that you want to be open-minded and that you are willing to resolve the issue, whatever that issue may be, the tension will most likely decrease tremendously in that room in the very beginning. So remember, be positive. All right, before we continue, I want to take a quick minute to share something with you. Do you want hands-on experience as you decide what career you want to pursue? Through on-the-job training, work experiences, and apprenticeships, Central Missouri Job Center staff are ready to help set you up for success today. Learn more about our on-the-job training program, which is an excellent opportunity to get hands-on experience from an employer while earning a paycheck. It's a win-win for everyone because employers get the workforce they need and you get the experience you need. Or there's our work experience program, which is available to job seekers ages 14 to 24 who have little or no past work experience. This actually provides the opportunity to meet with prospective employees while also taking advantage of critical workplace training. You gain work experiences, gives you the needed work background to secure future jobs. And don't forget about our registered apprenticeship opportunities, which it's alternative earn while you learn combination of training and employment. Apprentice workers gradually earn more as they reach higher levels of productivity. In addition to rewarding performance, a registered apprenticeship combines employer-driven, job-related instruction with extensive on-the-job learning under the supervision of a trained professional. And after completing a registered apprenticeship, the apprentice receives a nationally recognized occupational credential that communicates the standards and high level of training that their employer provides. To learn more about our work-based learning programs, visit cwdregion.com/learning today and find the Central Region Job Center near you. Again, that's cwdregion.com/learning. And now, let's get back to the best ways to handle workplace disagreements. All right, number 3, talk to someone else about your struggles. So talking to somebody about your struggles can be very beneficial, okay? But before we go deeper into that, what I'm not saying is that you need to go and complain to your other coworkers about your issue, okay? I am not saying that. Don't do it, okay? Gossip will destroy a workplace faster than you can even imagine, okay? Don't do it. We actually touched on that topic a little bit in our episode, 3 Ways to Find Happiness in Your Job, and I will share the links to that show in the show notes. Make sure it's someone who isn't involved in the situation, okay? Somebody who can be trusted, somebody who can be confidential, and ask them for their perspective because it may be just what you need. Sometimes our emotions get so involved and we can't see things for what they really are, and that could be the case with you. Maybe your emotions were too involved to see the reality, and that person can keep you from making a dumb decision or saying something that you may regret later, right? Find someone who will listen well, who will ask you challenging questions, somebody who will give you advice maybe based on a similar situation that they were in at one point in their lives. And notice this, okay? Notice I said talk to someone else. I didn't say talk to a bunch of people, okay? Your goal isn't to see how many opinions you can get, okay? Your goal is to resolve. So talking too much to too many people, that can just be damaging, okay? This step is about assessing how you're seeing the situation, right? Not getting everybody on your side, okay? So, number 3, talk to someone else about your struggles. Number 4, find a mediator. Okay, so this needs to be a last resort, okay? If sitting down with your coworker and resolving the issue just isn't going to work, or it hasn't worked, okay, the other person maybe isn't open to resolving the issue, then and only then it may be time to get somebody else involved, okay? Maybe you need a facilitator to help work out the issue, or you just need somebody to help set up a balanced environment for you. Having somebody who is objective to the situation is important, okay? Super helpful, because you want somebody that doesn't have skin in the game, right? Make sure also that whoever you agree to be your facilitator, to mediate, is somebody that you both agree on, okay? Make sure you agree on that. And again, make this a last resort, okay? Do what you can to resolve the issue amongst yourselves first, okay? So, number 4, find a mediator. So as I said at the beginning of this episode, right, disagreements are going to happen. They are going to happen, okay? Depending on how they're handled, though, can make them very productive to grow one another, right? And produce positive results for your work environment. And remember this, okay? Disagreements are not the end of the world. They aren't. And don't let them linger, okay? Deal with them, okay? Because they're not going away unless you do. But there are ways to deal with them in a healthy manner, right? So let's do a quick recap of today's episode. Number 1, you want to self-reflect, right? Take a look in the mirror. Number 2, be positive. Number 3, talk to somebody, but don't gossip. Right? Number 4, find a mediator and do this only as a last resort, okay? When disagreements pop up, remember, it is so important to stay professional. Does not matter what job you're in, what work environment you're in, it all matters, okay? Look within yourself, right? Remember, when you point a finger, you've got 3 pointing back at you. Be humble and try to find the best solution for everyone, okay? I believe in you, and you've got this, my friend. I hope today's episode was helpful for you, and if it was, and you enjoyed it, would you mind heading over and leaving us a review? Head on over to iTunes or wherever it is that you listen to podcasts, and make sure you give us a big 5 stars. And if you haven't yet stopped by Instagram to say hello, come on over and say hi, okay? You can find us at Central WDB. That's Central WDB. Have a great week, my friend, and we will meet again in the next episode. Until then, remember this: there's always a brighter tomorrow if you're willing to find it. The Central Region Workforce Development Board Incorporated and COPIC are equal opportunity employers and programs. Auxiliary aids and services are available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Missouri Relay Services at 711.